Okay, beautiful. All right. Hi, guys. Thanks everyone for coming. Those of you who are live and anyone watching the recording. My name is Emily Bassett, and I'm one of the co-founders of Stardoma. And I've also recently partnered with Connor and Sid, and we've partnered with Tina and Desiree with Local Street. So the Local Street team has expanded, and we've kind of taken on this extra marketing element. So, essentially, what we like to do is start to help give businesses as many resources as possible. So, we run different free events and just put out different free resources for businesses as often as we can, especially those in the local street community, but also those that are just making their way as a local business. So, we hope that you get some useful tips out of today's session and feel free to let us know or get in touch after the fact if you want anything a little more custom or personalized. So today we'll keep it on point, but we're going to look at the holiday trends. So essentially, what I've done for you is I've been following up with different things that Meta Business, like Facebook, has put out, Google has put out, lots of the major platforms, just like CRM tools and things like that. They'll put together a lot of data every year on what trends they predict for the holiday. So I've gone through and kind of highlighted some of the key things for you to note. Also, schedule and deadline. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So just like what should your holiday season look like? When do you need to start planning? All of that. We'll talk about a marketing mix. So how do you make the most of your marketing strategy? What channels will be really important? A little bit about budget, and then we'll just summarize it up. So 2024 trends. So very interesting thing about this year is they're actually calling it a short holiday buying season. So whether or not you guys have noticed it, but this year Black Friday is actually on November 29th. So that's quite late. That means Cyber Monday is actually December 2nd. So that's the latest we've seen it. I mean, in ages. I don't have the exact number, but essentially what this means is businesses are kind of creating this story that they're going to lose out on a whole week of shopping. So statistically, we do see that even though we are in Canada and Black Friday is not as big of a deal as in the States, it is still really when it kicks you into gear to shop. A lot of the large corporations, like Amazon and things like this, they will actually also have these really aggressive deals right during those Black Friday weeks. So what kind of is happening with this is with that really hot marketing deal week being so late in the year, there's this concept that shoppers are not going to be quite kicked into gear until it's later, and it's actually going to take away from the sales. So it's kind of an interesting concept. Of course, if you think about it, at the end of the day, you need to shop for the same amount of people. So why should it change things? But what's going to happen is local businesses, we are the ones that need the extra time for custom creation. We need the extra time for shipping because it's not, you know, overnight and things like that. So we're going to be the ones that get hurt the most from something like this. It's not Amazon that can deliver in 2 days, right? So you really want to kind of find different ways in your marketing to like tell your customers, like, don't wait until sale week, or maybe start your sales earlier. You don't wait until sale week, so that you can really not be affected by this. So depending on what your sales look like from a weekly basis, if you average even 20 orders a week, if you're missing out on that hot week, just because of kind of how the deals land, it actually will make quite a difference for your sales at the end of the day. So, and if you're thinking about it, if the hottest week in theory is Black Friday until when the shipping companies say, like, we can't guarantee it, that's December 13th. So that's giving us like 14 days, which is genuinely a short holiday buying season. So definitely kind of like take note of that. Think of creative ways that you can get your community and your customers you don't need them to understand this, but you just need them to think about the fact of get your shopping done early this year more than ever. So take that information and kind of do with it what you will. This was just thing Meta put out a ton of different data about the content that's doing the best. And, unfortunately for the social media managers of the world, reels are just absolutely running the show. So, as you think of how you're going to promote your biggest campaigns, how you're going to promote your products over the holidays, you got to include reels. It's just, it will give you the best chance. I'm all for having still images. I still think there's a place in the world for still images for sure, especially carousels. They still perform quite well. But those are really great for like a nice informative message, something if it's a bundle and you need people to understand how the bundle works, do that. But when you're thinking of, okay, now that I've educated, my followers on the fact that I have these bundles for the holidays, how am I actually going to sell it? You should be thinking about reels. So video content as much as possible. I know it's painful, but it is what customers are doing. Meta literally took, all of the data they have and everything came down to reels being the most interactive. So, that's another one. Weird content is in. So this was a really cool article to see. So they compiled a bunch of data from Meta and Google, and essentially came out with some information just on the fact that being odd is in. So I don't know, if you think about it, it's really been happening all year long. I think of like the Super Bowl commercials, like Stranger Than Ever this year, there's lots of different things that have just been odd. Eminem is always doing funny things, and essentially what the data is telling us is that it's working. So really don't like if you're thinking of ways to be bold and try something new, being weird might just be the way to do it. So that's everything from, we work with some clients that have like grocery business. So we look at things like what say unlikely pair of food, and like pairing it up and getting someone videotaping of eating it and being like surprised at the results, even if you make candles or something like that, like what weird candles could you potentially do, or what poll could you do to attract engagement? It's not even that you have to change your product line. If you guys haven't checked out Lay's, so Lay's all the time puts out completely fake flavors just for conversation and engagement. And they do it like almost weekly. And it's their entire social media strategy is just like throwing out these fake Lay's flavors and having people debate of which one they would like more and things like that. So if these large corporations are doing it, it's working for them. There's no reason why the smaller businesses shouldn't jump in as well. So just take a look, have a think of how you can incorporate something like cool but weird into your content, and statistically, you should be able to see results from it. This one, I'm sure you've guessed it, but this is the highest number I've seen over the past decade. So online shopping is officially predicted to be 50% of the holiday purchases. So, I mean, that is exactly kind of why like Local Street came to be, was trying to help bridge the gap from local businesses having maybe just that work from home element and a social account, and then actually giving them an online presence. So, if you are a Local Street member, you've already taken a step. If you have your own website, you've taken that step in the right direction. So now it's just about getting your product in front of people's eyes. Just remember that when you are like doing your marketing, you want to make it as easy as possible. So how can I conveniently put my product in front of someone and make under 6 clicks to where they actually are checking out? We all knew that this has just been growing year over year. I think last year it was at 49%. This year it's at 50. So nothing drastically different, but still a hard fact that isn't changing anytime soon. They did go on to say that Gen Z has been seen to be the number one for buying via social media. So this fact really speaks to having merchant centers set up. So Depending on if you guys are on Local Street, we actually have an integrated merchant center. So essentially what that means is when we go and post your products, we're able to tag your products in the shop so that when they click on it, they actually go to your page. If you are someone that has your own business or your own website, you can just like look it up or get in touch. You can set up like a commerce or a merchant center, and essentially what that does is it just pulls all your products into social, and then it makes it so you can actually tag the products. So you're not selling through Facebook. It's not Facebook's payment or anything like that that's selling the product. You're still getting the sale through your website, but people are just directly clicking on the product they want rather than seeing a post, going to the link in your bio, clicking on the link in your bio, finding the product on the product page and going from there. So it's just trying to reduce those click throughs and actually see those conversions smoother and more frequently. Then this was the first one first year I've seen this trend, but it was interesting to see. So there is a lot of trends suggesting that the buy now pay later strategy is going to rule this holiday season. So this is just the idea that it's been a tough year for the economy and obviously for everyone involved. So the idea of racking up a credit card at this time of year, the same way that we've done in previous years, is a little more daunting than it used to be. So the idea of being able to buy now, pay later creates this element where you're not going to get hit all at the same time. It's been happening in furniture stores and things like that for years now, but for general purchases, it's not as big of a thing. If you are considering it, you would want to have a higher ticket value item. If you are playing in the under $100 range, I wouldn't really consider this at all. But if you do have the over 100, you can look into different platforms that actually do this for you. So it's not about you like you just being like, I'll give all my product away and try and collect money from them later. These types of platforms will actually set up the payment system for you and just integrate with your website. So if you are looking at things where, yeah, I would almost say like 500 plus, can you introduce a payment plan easily within your site, or is there something where you can work with a system of the buy now, pay later model? And the other thing to think about is, yeah, if you do have like little subscriptions or memberships or anything like that, is there something where you can essentially just like push that payment to be a little bit later, in order to scratch that itch of people that are like, this is overwhelming and my bank account's not going to be happy about it. So that was an interesting one. Again, these might not be applicable to you, but they're just things to think about and spread the word with your fellow small business friends. So schedule and deadlines. So first of all, we've got some fun facts here on the fun stats here on the left. So 21% of people begin shopping by mid-October. So this was a study that's done over the past 5 years. 28% begin shopping before Black Friday. So that's positive for our super late Black Friday, but it's not as high as we want it to be. And 37% plan to begin holiday shopping before November. 49% do not start before November. So just something that's interesting. Yeah, in general. So what we kind of set up is a schedule and deadline. So we can't tell you the exact day to start your campaigns or the exact day to end it. It's going to depend on a lot of your own factors. So for you, what is the final date that you can get a product out? So this is more looking at the end of the cycle. If you do have custom things, if you have just products that take a while to ship and pack and whatnot, what's realistically the last time you can get out? Canada Post, they haven't released it yet, but they release something every year, and it's around December 13th to 15th, where they say after this date, we cannot guarantee that your packages will arrive at their destination. On top of it, all of the shipping providers do rack up their prices even more so as you get into those late December dates. So, for your own sake and for your customers' sake, you want to really find out where this sweet spot is. So, if something is packed and shipped in a day, you can pretty much run your campaigns right till December 10th easily because you know that everyone that orders before that orders will be no problem. You can still market throughout the rest of the season, but you start to get into that weary, is it going to make it stage? So you wouldn't want to drive people to wait till that moment. So whenever you're running a campaign, it's because you want to funnel people to that time of year. You want anyone who thought they were going to buy later, they're now going to buy earlier because of the fact that you're creating a deal, right? And then, but oftentimes what can also happen is if you're talking about a deal coming up, people will actually wait until that deal arrives to start shopping. So you want to think of what that bubble is that you want people to be shopping at that will make sense with your system. If you are a service or something like that, they can print something off and the gift is ready, so to speak, then you're not running into these issues as much. So Cyber Monday is actually Monday, December 2nd. So this is known to be like the online Black Friday, because of how much online sales have changed and just in Canada more so than the States. We all, I'm sure you've all seen it turns into kind of just a Black Friday week that kind of rolls into Cyber Monday. Saturday, actually, they do say it's like a small business Saturday. So that is like kind of a marketing day you can jump on to. And then the Monday after Cyber Mondays even is a giving, they call it Giving Tuesday. So you can certainly play around with the other days. You don't have to have a Black Friday sales day. I do actually have a list of all the key email marketing dates. So these are things like that go through even more extensively than this. So if you guys do want that, just ping me and I can send that over to you for for free. It's just a nice resource to have as well. And then, yeah, so when will your first campaign be? So essentially what we're doing with a lot of clients is we're trying to get the hype going in October. So we're almost using this as a testing phase of like not our biggest best sales, but we're introducing some deals, we're throwing out some giveaways, we're doing some, free shipping things, and we're essentially going to test the waters for what campaign is kind of getting the most traction or getting the most attention. Is it that everybody just wants to save a dollar? Is it that our bundles are starting to pick up? Or is it that just causing a lot of noise with a giveaway is creating more traffic and creating more sales? So I would definitely advise using October to be when your first campaigns are, and then running through November. So sometimes people ask me, like, do I even need to do Black Friday at all? So essentially, what I tell people is if you think about it, you're in a room with a bunch of other people, and everybody else starts shouting to try and get their products into these customers' faces. So, as much as you don't have to be shouting with them, if you're not saying anything at all, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? So that's kind of what happens around Black Friday is you want to do something. If not, then you're kind of just leaving everybody to shop elsewhere. If I can get a deal everywhere else I go and you're sitting here with the same deal as you've had the entire year, why would I, shop? So it's not to say you should kill your margins and have no money and do any of that, but just look at how you can make some noise. Can you do a really cool kids bundle? Can you do like I said, even a giveaway? Can you add a free item with every purchase? Like what can you do to just make some noise? So as people are looking for like these solutions or the gifts that they need to buy, that you can be in that game as well. The other interesting thing about Black Friday is it's as much as it's a gift season, because everyone knows that there's a lot of deals on, oftentimes it ends up being more than a gift season. So a lot of clients that I have that do have things that are like specifically health and wellness as services, really find that as much as they don't have like a physical product that they can just slash the price on, people are looking at their like what they're going to do in January. They're looking for themselves and they're like, oh wow, okay, there's a service that is offering a free discovery call this week, or they're offering something else. So it's like because people know that the rates are down, they do more than shop for others. They also look for how they can get value themselves. So yeah, so just like think of that. Like don't count yourself out of the race just because you're not a retail product. Um, but yeah, so anyways, so then you want to debate when will your first campaign be? So we advise October, or even end of September, like starting to get things ramped up. How many weeks do you want it to run? So knowing that, December 13th is the latest day that, statistically, shipping is going to go smoothly. Cyber Monday and Black Friday are super late. What kind of end date would be ideal for your larger campaigns, especially if you're sticking ad budget behind it? Just kind of debate that. And then you can actually find when the start of your campaign is going to be. And then also how long shipping will take. So this is something as simple as you do advertise to your local businesses, if there's a local pickup or something like that, you can pretty much advertise right down until the day of Christmas or whenever you decide to close your doors. But if you do any sort of international shipping, if you do even just cross provincial shipping, then you really want to think of that. I mean, as much as we tell people, it might not show up by Christmas and all of these things, or whatever holiday you're celebrating. It's still pretty sad when you have to include a picture of the present in the card rather than the actual present. So it's the best customer experience for you and the buyer when you're able to pull it off. So if you're super transparent about like buy today, I literally, so one of the most clicked on emails across the board with our clients is that last chance one. So usually around December 10th, we'll be like, you will not guarantee get your gifts if you do not order today, or this week. We really create that sense of urgency, and they're the highest clicked in emails. And it makes sense, right? Like you're literally playing on the emotion of urgency, and the world has created the urgency. You're not the one that's creating the deadline of when you need to purchase these gifts, but you're the one that's saying like, look, I'm making it easy. Here's your bundle for your mom, brother, and best friend, So think of those things for sure. Yeah, and just make sure you're planning. Like the reason why we do this in September is because I want you to be having your holiday strategy sessions like this week and next week, not in the beginning of October. Even as a marketing agency, we have people that come to us. Guys, 1 second. You're okay, Leo. Got a new puppy, and I was given the early showers the info that he's in my office hanging out. So if he does bark, I'm so sorry. Anyways, yeah. So just consider all of that stuff and really do start early. It does make a huge difference. Trying to ramp up your marketing at the beginning of November, you're just so far behind the game that that you really just won't see the results that you could see. So things to consider. Marketing mix. So essentially what this I'm trying to help you guys think of with this, slide or part of the presentation is to not just try one thing. Social media only, emails only, events only is only going to get you so far. So all of these are ways that you can sort of spread yourself out. So you can run ads. Don't necessarily like if you have a budget and you're willing to ramp it up this year, definitely consider getting a full ad strategy, but ads can also be as simple as boosting posts. If you have a brand new bundle and it's on a deal, then throw $10 a day behind it for 2 weeks, or a week. If you only have budget for like a day, I would say don't bother. But as long as you even have as little as like $50, $10 a day for 5 days, you can make that post go a lot farther than it would. So if you're usually reaching hundreds, $50 could bring into thousands. So whether or not those thousands engage depends on what the content is talking about. You can look into gift guides. So they're all over the place. Lots of local communities will actually do them. We like to try and connect with as many as possible. So feel free to reach out. Local street, we have done gift guides in the past. I think we do plan to do gift guides this year as well. So we're gonna kind of get that going probably end of this month or first thing next month. So just watch for that if you do want to be in the gift guide. Collaborations, you guys are all in the same boat. We all want to make sales for the holiday. We all want to be nice and busy and sell it all of our stock. So if we have the same target audience, so maybe both our audience moms or kids or something, then we can actually, even consider bundles or cross promotion. So take a look at that. Attending events is also really great. So, I mean, a lot of people that we actually we connect with at farmers market. So, local street is a really cool thing if you are someone that spends a lot of time at markets during the summer. And then you want to have a business that can actually sell for the rest of the year in one way or another. Jumping on local street is a really cool resource for that. But in saying that, we also want you guys to participate in the markets as well. So holiday markets pop up all over the place. The applications are already open for Barrie and Toronto. And then I actually just saw some out in BC as well. So take a look at your community and see what events are going on and if it makes sense to be involved. Increasing your social, increasing your emails. So on average, if we have clients that have a monthly newsletters, we tend to send out 3 during November and an additional 1 during December. So that would be 3 and 2. If you do have a Boxing Day sale or an end of year blowout or anything like that, that would bring your December ones to an additional 1. If you are someone that's already more aggressive with emails, then weekly emails definitely do it. And then sometimes even on those prime holiday weeks, we'll send out 2. You can also look at wholesale apps. So these are things, I mean, you definitely want to look into them now, but if you've heard of Faire and different things like that, essentially what these are is they can connect you to bigger stores that want to stock their shelves with extra things. So you can look at, that's just a way to kind of get more cash flow for yourself if you're able to mass produce. We talked about markets. Oh, there's also like online Christmas markets and virtual markets and things like that. So check those out. Video appearances. So podcasts are a really big one. Just like, especially if you're a service-based business, same thing. We're trying to make more noise during the holidays and Q4 in general. So where can you show up in the world? Amazon and Etsy. As much as we would love everyone to shop on local street only, we do know that the traffic of Amazon and Etsy is there. Etsy actually particularly does have some really good gift guides. So if that is a place that you hang out and you are on it, then look at what they have going for their holidays as well and take advantage of it. Do note though that there are additional fees. So like we actually were just talking to a client recently that wanted to jump on Amazon for the holidays. Amazon put out a big thing that said October 19th is actually their deadline for all holiday sales. So the particular client wasn't able to manufacture their product in that time to get a bulk order out. And they actually increased the fees of all the sales. So your margins actually cut. So we just say to be cautious that if you are doing a deal on top of knowing that margins, if you don't play your numbers right, you'll just lose a lot more money. So take a look at those things. I'm obviously going to shamelessly plug Local Street. We've actually lowered our prices for the holidays. So if you do have, if there's new businesses coming on, or if you've kind of got that reoccurring subscription, then you will actually see that there's actually the prices have gone down. So we know that the economy is just a tough place for everyone, especially the small businesses, and we want to be a platform that can grow the businesses and help support you grow. So check that out. Webinars, new platforms. This one, the only one I wanted to say for this was Threads has actually added a business suite. So I don't know how much you guys know about Threads, but Threads was actually a new Meta platform that they released, gosh, last year, beginning of this year. And essentially it's pretty much like Twitter or X, but it's owned by Meta. And for a while, it was just you could just have kind of a personal profile, and you can put like threads out, which is like honestly, it's like a tweet. But they have now added a business suite, which is quite interesting. It has a ton of people on it. Specifically, the female population of it, I think it's over 50% is female, which was quite interesting. And they are seeing lots of just lots of positive trends with the platform. So if you're looking at trying something new, then looking at how Threads could play a part in your business could definitely be it. And honestly, like we've advised most of our clients to ditch Twitter and move over there. The engagement levels that we're seeing is just quite significant. If you have a strong presence and Twitter is still working for you, by all means. But if you're feeling like it's dead in the water, then there's no projection that suggests it's coming back. And we've been surprised before, but definitely just consider things. If you're not already on Locustreet, of course, join Locustreet. Giveaways. So like if you are going to be running any giveaways, feel free to message us and we'll help boost them up. But yeah, giveaways are a really fun way, again, just to make noise. So I have some clients that are doing them end of September to kind of kick it all into gear. Lots of them are doing things in October. And then some of them are even doing them like around that Black Friday time because they don't want to necessarily jump on the discount train. And then press releases. So if you have a local paper, I know, funny enough, Aurelia Matters is a really good one. If any of you are in Aurelia area, they love to interview local businesses and things like that. So if you can go out and tell your story and be a little more heard during the holidays, then it can definitely go a long way. Marketing channels. So these are just the 4 key things we think you should do for the holidays. So holiday up your site. Nobody likes, so oftentimes what can happen, especially with small businesses, is people are really looking for credibility. If I'm going to go and order from this person I've never ordered before, is it the product actually going to show up? Is it going to show up on time? All of that stuff. So as something as simple as making it holiday version, it just tells people that you're active. Like this is a real site, a real person, the business is still going. Social and ads. So yeah, of course you want to be definitely posting and kind of like create consistency with your followers there. Email marketing, if it's not something you have, honestly, it's the highest converting marketing channel of all of our, I don't want to say all of our clients because sometimes we have like service clients where their model is a little bit different, but building an email community is just like absolutely priceless. Like these are marketing qualified people that have said they're interested in you, and you're putting them all in a nice little basket, emailing them each month about what you have going on. So September, like the goal for like my staff and like my team is essentially like how many new email subscribers can we get for all of our people, so that in the next few months when we have all this exciting stuff coming, we've got that direct line to send it right to them. So if you don't have it, now is the time to look into it. If you are a small business, you can actually set up a HubSpot completely free. So it's a completely free CRM tool. As you grow, I will say you can grow out of it in the sense of like the prices can start jumping quite a lot, but you can switch CRM tools very easily. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, I've gotten set up on one, I can never leave it. So yeah, if you don't have anything at all, HubSpot's a really good one for just getting a free one, getting out there, just having something. And then yeah, from like an affordability standpoint, you can also look at Flowdesk. So Flowdesk doesn't have the CRM element of like looking at each contact and being able to really deep dive into them, but it has a set rate. So it's like $38 to $61. And essentially, I think something, I was looking it up for a client like yesterday. And it has no limit. So you can have 10,000 leads on there or emails on there, and your rate doesn't go up. Where all the rest of the platforms, it is dependent. So HubSpot specifically, once you reach over 2,000, you are paying for some of that. So yeah, so just play around with the platform that makes sense for you. And then blogs and SEO. So in order to show up more on Google, you want to have as many keywords as you possibly can. You really want to have some articles out there. So everything that you read, where it's like best gifts for dad, best gifts for mom, like for your friend, your mother-in-law, whatever. Somebody had to write those. So essentially, what we do with a lot of our clients is we'll write them. What's the best holiday bundle of for your kids, and then you really get to narrate the story and direct people into your site. So definitely look at how you can create some blogs or improve your SEO. And again, that would be like now is the time because we're already kicking off Q4. So if you guys again have any questions about that at all, you can definitely reach out. My contact info is on the last slide and we'll send a little follow-up. But yeah, we can help you get set up or level up any of those platforms. Another thing is budget. So another, it's always hard to figure out how much to spend during the holidays. But essentially what we say is you don't want to focus on what you're willing to spend. You want to focus on what it should be doing for you. So, if someone just tells me like, okay, I can spend $5,000, I almost hear it as like, I can lose $5,000, like I have this money that I can put aside and it can be gone. It can just be for ads. But you really should know exactly how your budget is turning over for you. So you want to look at things like your existing conversion rate. I know, depending on how long you've kind of been with your business, you might know this or not, but it's like for every 10 people you talk to, how many people actually buy? For every 100 people that come to your site, how many conversions do you see? For every, so you're trying to see these numbers because that's how you can actually scale. So if I know that every 100 people brings in 10 sales, then I know if I could increase that 100 to 1,000, I can bring in 100 sales. So now I can actually create a budget in my ads to bring in 1,000 people so that because I know that that number will equal out to more sales than the cost. So, and I know maybe that might be like obviously, but it's really not something to think about. They just go, how much should I spend for the holidays? Should I spend $5,000? Like, no, you should spend and increase your spending based on your conversion rate. So if you don't have a conversion rate at all, then yeah, honestly, like let's chat. You should really know in general based on like how many people you get in front of how many sales you typically see. So for service-based industries, lots of times it is like a discovery call or consult or something like that. So how many calls do you do and how often do you close them? So yeah, and then you can look at your actual goals. So how much do you usually hit for the year? If you're a retail business, people see, upwards of 25%, well, always upwards of 25%, but upwards of like it's sometimes it's 50% of their sales can entirely be on Q4. So if you are like a product-based company, like what were your sales for this year? What quarters did you do well? So statistically, we should be able to improve all of your other quarters this quarter. So what types of things can we do to see that, right? So if on any typical month you're making 150 sales, how can we see 400 this? And how can we adjust ad budget or things like that in order to see that? I did mention earlier though, for just like a boosting, $50 to $200 is pretty much where I would max out for boosting a post. And oftentimes, if I'm going a higher amount, it's because I want it to spend for longer. If you're spending more than $200, you should be looking at a proper ad strategy. Something as simple as $5 a day can make a big difference on your traffic to your website and your sales in general. Meanwhile, doing a boost for $200 can reach thousands of people. But if those thousands of people aren't actually converting to go and make the official conversion on your site or on Local Street or anywhere else, then you're not actually getting it. It's a vanity metric, we say. You can have 100 million followers on Instagram. If nobody bought from your shop, it's useless. Um, and then, yeah, do you have or need a buffer? And where is your hard line? So once you decide that this is what your strategy is going, this is what we predict, here's your conversion rate, here's our budget, you want to be monitoring over all of that spending and see if you're actually seeing the results as you go. So oftentimes, thankfully, I haven't had any strategies completely blow up on me, but if you were to get to kind of Black Friday and be nowhere close to your goals, I would definitely cut some of your spending and just look at the organic things you can do for the remainder of December, and then maybe try and throw a little bit of the extra budget into like an end of year blowout. The reason why you should consider the end of year blowouts is just the fact that Christmas and the holidays, especially like Gen Z, like Gen X, Gen Z, you'll see that they get a lot of money for the holidays. So suddenly there's actually some spending money going on. So it's definitely something to consider of, now that everyone's back online with money in their hands, then how can you spend it? But yeah, definitely more the younger generation. Unfortunately, I don't know about you guys, but the days of getting money seem to be gone, and I have to buy everyone gifts. So Boxing Day sales aren't exactly the ones I'm focused on. Cool. So in summary, start down. Don't want to say you're already too late, but you're definitely not early. You want to develop a campaign. You want to figure out how you're going to make noise during this busy season. You want to decide on a budget. So look at what your conversion rate and what you're comfortable spending, and then make like a plan to strategically work that into your system. Create remarketing campaigns. So this is just the idea of like either feeding an email list so you actually have a bunch of people somewhere that you can remarket to, or you can actually look at creating that sophisticated ad plan where you remarket to people. So essentially all this means is if like your previous buyers, people that have bought from you other times of the year, things like that, you've already got the credibility built with them. So how can you just remarket to them and re-engage them so that you can see the sales during Q4? A lot of times too, people will be like, my product is so great, you only need to buy it once, which we love. But essentially, this is the great time to see repeat purchases from those people, because if they love that product that much, they can buy it for their friends, power to them. And then report for next year. So this time of year as a marketing agency, a lot of things we're doing is we're just compiling the last few years of holiday data, and we're looking at what deals worked and what deals didn't in order to make our plan for this year. So if that's not something you have data on currently, try and set yourself up for next year by creating some reports. Cool. So yeah, if you've got questions, reach out. Honestly, I do have a Calendly, so you can like find and book a call in, but don't hesitate. I do have my phone number there if you just want to give me a call. And then email is the best way to kind of just connect, get any answers to any questions, and see where you can go. You also can, of course, email local stream as well. And you'll kind of get to all of us. So yeah, feel free if anyone does want to come off camera. We can go through any questions. Hello. I think I might kill the recording though if no one has anything, and then we can just chit chat for the last few minutes.
Thanks, Emily.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, thank you. That was great.